just wanted to ask you about a few of the best matches you've been in. So, for example, myself, I was there when Ganguly took his top off and did the whole thing in Lords when he chased 320 odd. I think 1999 or something like that. I think
2002.
2002.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, in
yeah,
Lords. Yeah, I was there that day, and at that time, chasing 320 odd it wasn't heard of. Like over 300 was a top score. And then
yeah.
when Mohammed Kaif, probably his greatest innings ever in an Indian shirt, uh, brought it home for us. I was there for that. But what is like the top three or five? How many you want to give? Like the greatest matches that you've been to? Because there've been quite a few over the last decade, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's difficult to sort of, you know, mention three or five, if you like, right? Because you go on different formats, and
Mm.
think about
Yeah, true.
different types of matches, right? I mean, if I talk about the matches that I've gone to see live, well, I was lucky enough to be living in India for 4 years, from 2010 to 2014, and therefore I was
I was there for the World
there
Cup.
for every match. I went to every single match
Oh,
basically, right to the final. So obviously being in Mumbai, I was living in Mumbai. So being in Mumbai, watching Dhoni hit the six, when he won with some of my best friends, in cricket, that was a hell of an experience.
yeah.
I don't think I don't know if I'll ever get to witness again,
Mm.
watching, you win the World Cup in India. Hopefully next year if the T20 World Cup happens,
Yeah.
or maybe 2023, who knows, right? But yeah, that was probably one of the best, I would say. So from an ODI perspective, I'd probably say that was my best.
Mm.
I think from a Test match, it's difficult, right? Because only recently have we've seen some really good performances from India in Test cricket.
Yeah.
So
True.
like
Yeah.
we've been amazing in Test cricket for many years, right? But
Mm.
I think it wasn't one particular match, but when we won the series against Australia, I'd been to Australia a couple of times and watched us get absolutely smashed in Test cricket. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually flew to Australia just for 5 days. I knew we were going to win the series, right? But it was just to make sure that when Kohli lifted the trophy to beat Australia, that I could say that I was there. So I actually
Yeah.
flew to Australia, flew to Sydney for 5
Oh
days
my
to
God.
watch that last Test, basically. But so that was not necessarily the best match, but from an experience point of view, to be there after watching us get smashed so much and actually
Yeah.
win the series, that was quite memorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been, I was in 2002 at the NatWest series final as well, so I was there then. I was in one of the best matches I've experienced from I guess, atmosphere perspective. I was in South Africa in 2003 when we beat Pakistan in Centurion.
The World
Uh,
Cup.
yeah, and I think still today, Sachin's best innings
Was
against.
it 90 odd and he got out
Yeah, he
caught
got
out
out.
point?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we were chasing a big target, which sometimes people forget. It's
Mm.
270, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So batting second, chasing against Pakistan, and people forget that bowling line that Pakistan had was
Oh
probably
my
one of the
God.
best they've ever had. So that was a pretty amazing experience. But there's been so many; it's difficult to sort of narrow it down to
Yeah, yeah, of course.
good matches. Yeah,
Yeah. I think the World Cup though that was iconic, especially after not winning it for like 30 odd years at that time. And Tendulkar never having won a World Cup,
yeah,
knowing that was going to be his last World Cup, and being in India, like it just kind
yeah,
of went on and on and on. And I think Yuvraj Singh had such a great tournament that no one speaks about. And even Gautam Gambhir had a great match that day. He got 97 and he got out.
yeah,
But I think that was such a complete performance from the Indian team, and
yeah,
like that kind of era was going, and now you're in like the Kohli era, post Tendulkar era, and I
yeah,
think that was such a again, we don't know if we'll ever see it again, and I don't think it'll ever be as dramatic as that again, like with all those layers
yeah,
attached to it, and being able to see so you saw every single match leading up to
yeah.
the final, so you got to see the whole tournament experience, and that must have been
Yeah.
so special.
Yeah, I mean, all of India's matches were either on Saturday or Sunday, apart from one, which was India versus the Netherlands. That was on a Wednesday in Delhi. So I was quite lucky that I'd be working, and then on the Friday evening, I'd just travel out to whichever city
Yeah,
in India. So it worked really well for me. And all my friends and family from England and different parts of the world were flying in every week for like a quick, 2-match holiday or 3-match holiday. And some flew out for the whole tournament stayed with me, kind of thing. So it was just an amazing sort of 6 weeks or so, you know. And obviously, when there's a big World Cup in India, the country pretty much it comes to a standstill. You know, I mean, Bollywood didn't release any films during those 6 weeks that tournament was on, just because they knew no one would turn up and watch the movies in the cinemas. You know, so that's how much hype there is around cricket.
Yeah, and that country breeds cricket. Like you see it everywhere. Like they worship the players, they worship the star. They become like household names and stuff, right? Like it's so big out there, and there's nothing quite like it. And what I found quite surprising is how much the international stars, because of the IPL, like now love India and love what it brings, because it's not really an easy place to be compared to in the West. You know, like India has its complications, and but the stars absolutely love it there. They love the IPL. They love what it brings. They love the color. They love the energy as well. So it's India is a massive place in world cricket right now. But I just wanted to speak